Today I'm going to try something that some of you may consider fairly ricey. I don't think it's that ricey. I think that it can be done wrong and be really stupid and dangerous, but I'm hoping that my attempt at this particular automotive mod or change turns out the way I want. So what am I doing? I'm gonna tint my tail lights to make them a little darker, but the way that I want to tint them hopefully doesn't obscure the brake lights in any way when they're lit up. So like if my nighttime lights are on, the tail lights shouldn't look tinted, like they should just be red. And during the day, like when the lights are off, they'll be darker but not full blackout. So I'm gonna try doing 2 coats of spray on tint. Sorry, the wind is coming in. I don't know if you guys can hear me when the wind it starts messing with my mics. But anyway, hang on a second. I picked up this Nightshade taillight tint. It's spray on. So it comes off really easily, like you can just use paint thinner or brake cleaner to get it off if you don't like it. So if it turns out that it sucks, I'm just gonna take it off and that's that. But the bottle was like 15 bucks. So why not try it out? See if it looks good. If it's shit, then we're taking it off. And so yeah, but okay, let's get started. So on my Ford Focus, there's quite a large surface area for taillights. Ford was like, man, you know what would be sick if we just like stretched them way the hell out along the side of the car. So that's what we're dealing with. And I want to leave this entire white strip white, and I'm just gonna tint the red. That's the plan, and hopefully it comes out looking good. I'm gonna just quickly dry off the surface with some towels, and then we're gonna taper up and spray a couple coats on, see how it goes. So to start off, I'm gonna spray it with some Spray 9 heavy duty cleaner to get rid of any road grime, oil, wax, all that sort of bad thing. And then we're gonna clean around it really well to make sure all the contaminants are off le car. I think I might as well do these little reflectors too. Probably just 1 coat on those because they don't have light coming out of them, so the tint's gonna fuck with them quite a bit, but I think 1 coat will look good on those. So I'll try that out too. Okay, so there's the basic masking of 1 light. I'm not gonna film the rest because it's gonna be super boring. But basically, I'm gonna take some newspaper and spread this out super wide so I don't get any of the tint on the car, even though, you know, it'd be easy to get rid of it off the paint of the car, but it's more of a pain in the butt, so why not just cover it? So I'm gonna cover that up. I'm gonna do the other tail light, and then I'm gonna mask up these little reflectors as well. And then we'll start spraying on the tint. Alrighty, now I've got her all taped up. I sprayed these small reflectors down here just to see how it would look. Now that looks really dark on camera, but let me show you what it looks like when you flash a light at them. So you put a light on them and you get a lot of the color back, but then no light, they're black. Now that that is complete on either side, I can do the main tail lights, but I'm gonna put the camera down for that because there's some spots I have to get into, like under there, and then, you know, gotta do a nice smooth coat around the rest of the around the rest of the tail light so that it's nice and consistent. So I'll set the camera up and then we'll get started on that. There we have it. The taillights have been smoked. That's about one coat-ish. I mean, like, you kind of have to overlap in order to cover the entire light in one go. I'm just gonna let it sit now. It needs about an hour to dry before you do another coat. So we'll let it dry for an hour and come back and see how they look after that. I mean, they look fairly perfect right now. They look good to me. So it's been about an hour since I sprayed the lights. I did come back out and just do some touch-ups to try to even out some sections that were a little darker than others. Now, in the shade of the garage, they look fairly dark, but if you take a look at this middle light, I didn't tint that. That's just the way it looks from factory, and it looks pretty similar to the lights that I smoked. And I'm happy with that because that means that the lights I smoked are going to be darker, but they're not going to mess with the quality of light that's being projected out of them, which is key for safety's sake. So just real quick, I've got my keys on me so we can light up the lights. That's what the back of the car will look like at night, and it gives you a pretty good idea of like how bright those lights still are. It might be hard to tell on the camera, but in my opinion, they don't look any darker than they would have before the smoking, so that's good. That means I achieved my goal with this smoking. In about 2 to 2.5 more hours, we're gonna take the masking off and take the car outside. Now, I haven't taken it outside just because it's a little rainy out there. But in a couple more hours, we'll take the car outside. I'll do a lights on and lights on with brakes and lights off with brakes so that we can get a good idea of how the smoking affected the way it looks and all of that good fun stuff. So we'll see you guys in a couple hours. Well, as you can see, the taillights have been successfully smoked and they turned out perfectly, like exactly what I wanted. I didn't want to black these out. I wanted to just make them a little darker. I didn't want to impede the brake light's ability to shine through the tint. So, perfect. Exactly what I wanted to have happen. So now I guess I'll just do a few glamour shots to show off my ricey smoked taillights. So those turned out exactly how I wanted. I couldn't have pictured it turning out any better, except for a couple little uneven coats in the paint or in the tint. To fix that, I would recommend trying to do it with actual like vinyl tint that you wrap around the lights. But the problem with that is you wouldn't be able to do those white stripes through the taillights as easily as I did just by taping it off. So actual tint would be more even, glossy, but this one is a lot easier to apply. It's a lot cheaper than actual tint, and you don't really need to have any skills other than like knowing how to use painter's tape. So yeah, go ahead and try it yourself and be super ricey like me. See you later, car lords.